If you're tired of getting zero results from every shiny lead generation tactic that you came across online so far, and you just want a strategy that actually works and is super simple to follow in order to generate qualified prospects for your business, then you've stumbled across the right video. Because look, I've spent the last 5 years generating leads for dozens of the clients over at my own agency, as well as averaging 3+ meetings every single week back in my days as a sales rep for a startup that had literally no product market fit, where I had to rely on just hunting all of my prospects completely cold using cold email. Even though realistically I can probably just stand here and tell you that what I'm doing is so fancy using AI agents, Clay, Claude Code, Hermes agent, OpenClaw and all of that, the reality is the principles behind the entire system that I'm about to show you are actually pretty simple and pretty boring. So by the end of this video, you'll know the exact lead generation strategy that I am proposing, how you can exactly replicate it for your business so that you can count on this when you need more clients. Anyways, let's jump straight into it. In my opinion, the simplest, most reliable way to get clients has literally always been the same, and it has nothing to do with the emergence of new AI agents or any of these tactics, and all it boils down to is just two things. The first thing is you build a list of the exact people who would be a good fit for what you sell. And the second thing is that you reach out to them with something relevant, preferably agitating an ongoing headache, which you can solve by selling your product or services to your prospect. And that's literally it. And it works because you're going straight to the people that are most likely to buy from you, instead of waiting around and hoping that they find you thanks to your fancy Webflow landing page, which 99.9% of prospects would never do unless you have a big personal brand. And in my opinion, having tried paid ads, having tried content, nothing really compares in terms of the ROI and simplicity to cold outreach. With content, you're posting for months before you can expect a certain amount of clicks, impressions, or revenue. Paid ads are just so confusing, and you probably need to put about $10,000 in order to find out how to generate any sort of return on ad spend. So naturally, as I was just talking my way through it, in my opinion, cold emailing is the number one thing that every single business should be doing, because almost everyone has a work email. You can get in front of way more people than you could on any other channel. You can also automate it, schedule it, and personalize it, so you're literally reaching hundreds or thousands of prospects on autopilot without having to handwrite every single email or do anything manually in the process. And even though there will be some random gurus that try to scare you about how Google and Microsoft is cracking down on cold outreach, as long as you know some deliverability basics, you should be absolutely fine. Now that you know that you're reaching people by email, the biggest decision is who goes on that target list of prospects that you're going to email. And the first thing I would do is not bother with the niches that everyone else is going for, especially if you sell some saturated offering like SEO services, lead generation services, website design, custom software development, or something like that. You should not be going for SaaS founders, marketing agencies, e-commerce brands, and online coaches, because everyone for whatever reason seems to absolutely love those niches because they've got money. But from what I've seen over the last few years, they're the most slammed when it comes to the amount of cold outreach that they're receiving. So by the time that your cold email shows up, it's probably the fourth one in the queue behind some other competitors who are probably able to undercut you because Alex Hormozi told them to come up with an irresistible free lead magnet offer, which can completely wipe out your paid service altogether with super inflated expectations on top of that. Now, from my experience, the niches that actually work are the most boring, unsexy ones that people typically scroll through on the Sales Navigator and Apollo filters. And when I say this, I mean, for example, immigration firms like Nomad Capitalist, or service providers for dental service organizations like Two Front, which was a past client of my business, and they were targeting dental practices. Or companies like BTL Industries that basically manufactures a bunch of funky electronic devices basis that they sell to local businesses like med spas, physiotherapists, and masseuses. And yes, it's quite niche. Yes, it's quite boring. But I bet you not many people, when they reach out to plumbers or accounting firms or medical offices, not many people are actually able to cater the content and the personalization within the email to those specific niches. So in my opinion, those are the kind of niches that are super untapped and a lot less saturated and a lot less engaged with cold outreach. So if you are looking for clients, those are the kind of industries that I will go for. I've done so much outreach to local businesses in the past, specifically like barbershops, petrol stations, dental practices that I just showed you, and a whole lot more. So in my opinion, it's literally a no-brainer to go after them, especially as a lot of other folks find it super difficult to find local businesses. How the hell would you find some of those local businesses? How would you find manufacturing companies and find the decision makers from those? It's pretty straightforward. All you need to do is use a tool like Smartlead for this. Again, if you want to try out Smartlead and get access to this database with over 270 million verified profiles, all you would need to do is head over and click on the top link underneath the video, and it will get you instant access to a free Smartlead account with 2,000 free credits of this specific feature. And as soon as you're inside, you're able to filter for the job titles. So let's imagine that we want to go after business owners. So I'm going to just filter for owners. And if I scroll down to industry, I can type in manufacturing. And of course, we can then filter this down to a lot more things like the country. So let's say in my case, I want to go after anyone who's in the United Kingdom. So I can throw in a couple of relevant one-liners. For example, the fact that England lost to Argentina in the World Cup literally the day before me recording this video. And in this case, after we apply a couple of these filters, we can see all of the leads over here in real time. And all we would need to do is just select the leads. In this case, we can even select all of them or select a specific number of leads. Let's say I'll just go with 10 to start with. Then I can click on apply, and then I can click on find those contacts. And for that, we will need to find their email addresses. That's why I love Smartlead, because, it's all embedded within one tool, and we can find the emails. I can click on find contacts. We also have the option there to find the mobile numbers as well if our sales team wanted to call them. And there are also calling functionalities within Smartlead as well. And in this case, we can see that 10 out of 10 emails have been found. And now we can literally just select all of them, select all, apply, and then push leads to a specific campaign. And for that, we can click on email campaign and select a specific email campaign that we can either create over here, or we can choose an existing campaign that we have within Smartlead already. So let's imagine we click on push leads to, and over here we click on email campaign and we want to create a new campaign. It's actually pretty straightforward. I'll just call this unlockgtme.com outreach, which is basically the name of my community for anyone that's trying to get into lead generation. And for the purpose of this, I'm going to click on next. I'm going to just leave all of these toggles off and click on create and add to campaign. You can see this will basically load for a couple of seconds on our side, and it will start creating the campaign in the background. And if we now click on the left hand side of the panel on email campaigns, we should be able to see this email campaign over here. The leads will be loading in the background and they will be added over here in real time. You can see that they're still being verified right now, so for that reason the screen is just slowly loading. So for the time being, let's just pretend that we just want to send 2 emails. We can space them out by 3 to 4 days, and then based on that, we can then type in the copy over here. And then of course, if we ever want to add any sort of dynamic personalization or customization for each prospect, we can use the variables over here where it's got those brackets. And then if I click over here, we can select the variables. So for example, hi first name, what is your 5-kilometer PB? Of course, this is just like a random example of like just some placeholder text that we can put inside of an email. And then for the subject line, sometimes this catches people off guard, but for the actual subject line, the custom variables have to be generated from the top here. So you can do the same, something like this, question for you. And this way, if we click on preview, you'll then show us the preview for each individual lead, how the email will read like via desktop view and mobile view as well. Now, my recommendation with Smartlead is to cap your email sequences at a maximum of 3 different emails if you're sending just emails as a part of your sequence. And in my case, I typically stick to 2 emails per sequence right now at the time of me recording this in mid-July 2026, simply because I think that way you can test 2 completely different offers or angles, and that way you can then try out new messaging as a part of a separate campaign thereafter without burning through the list if you're messaging them with like 3 or 4 emails like most other people would. And in my opinion, the reason that campaigns to industries like manufacturing are super likely to work for you is pretty simple. It's just because we picked a market where the inbox is basically empty, where they're not getting as much cold outreach. So hopefully they'll make an exception and they will reply specifically to us. And by the way, if you want to build one of these campaigns for boring niche of your own, you can go and try out Smartlead completely for free by clicking on the top link underneath the video. And by the way, if you want to make sure that all of these emails land in the inbox and not in the spam folders, then check out the video popping up on your screen right now.